Hey there. Welcome to Mark My Words, a podcast series offering a glimpse into alternative paradigms hiding just beneath the surface of everyday life, where our first question of the day is always, what if? And this is Paul Gehrig. Hello, everyone. I'm here once again with Mark Cornelius. And in previous episodes, we were pretty much discussing and leading to the question, what is truth? Now we're going to dive a little bit deeper. We're going to dig into it a little bit. So we're going to ask that you put on those thinking caps and buckle up because we're looking like a bumpy ride, perhaps maybe even a little bit of a roller coaster involved here. So Mark, I'm going to pass the horn over to you so that you can basically lead us through what you think about the kinds of things that we need to be thinking about before we make a decision on what we feel is true.
Thank you, Paul, and hello to all you thinkers out there. And some of you who may not be thinking yet, keep on tuning in and it'll get you that way, get you thinking, because that's what this is all about. So, this particular episode, we're going to draw some conclusions here, and we're going to move in rapid fire. So, to just follow us through. You can always pause and rewind and look at this again and consider. We'd love your opinions on this once we conclude everything. But the first thing I'm going to do is throw that ever-present or the fun teaser at you, and it's right out there for everybody to consider. It's been out there before any of us were born. Is there a great lie in contrast to a great truth? We've always been arguing, is there a great truth? Is there such a thing as truth? Postmodern thinking is, truth is relative and all of that. But if you come to a conclusion there is a truth, there's a polar opposite to that too. There is a lie. And so just be kind of moving around that in your head. And we're going to do a little bit of brain cell burning here, approaching the concept of a great truth, utilizing both deductive and inductive reasoning. And if those terms aren't familiar to you, they will be by the time we're through here. You probably have some crazy questions floating around in your head. I do, and that's what this show is all about. But let's hang tough, and with confidence, we're going to come to some actual answers to those questions. Even one great answer at the end. So it's not just about the questions, it is about answers. So I hope you'll be surprised and challenged by all of this, and we'll have some fun as we progress along. So first of all, let's address those two terms, deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. So deductive reasoning, best way I can explain it, and this is something I've been trying to think through, what's a great example or something that really edifies that. So deductive reasoning, something has been happening and it is discovered and a conclusion has been drawn. I just need to figure out how it came to be. A great term to go along with this is reverse engineering. So I go outside into the garage and there's a vehicle there called a car or a truck. And I said, how did that get there? Well, somebody had to drive it in there. But even before somebody had to drive it in there, somebody had to buy it. And before somebody bought it, it had to be built. And how was it built? Etc., etc. Reasoning backwards from something that is already evident. So inductive reasoning is, just turn that around. I want to get from my house to Paul's house. That's a drive. I'm up here in not so sunny South Dakota today, and he's in beautiful Tennessee. How am I going to get there? Well, I need a vehicle. So how did I do that? Well, I gotta find something that's been built that makes that possible. Maybe even I need to build it if nothing has been done yet. And then I need to figure out if it's reliable enough to get me to the destination I want to go to. That is inductive reasoning. I conclude that I need to build a car, or I need to have somebody build me a car. It has to have 4 wheels. Maybe not, but whatever. And I'll talk to, I don't know, maybe I'll talk to Mr. Musk, and maybe he'll be able to make me something that doesn't have wheels at all and get me over to Paul's house faster. So hope that helps you in understanding what is deductive and inductive reasoning. So using those terms, we're going to approach another. Oh, there they are, by the way. Here I am. I am sorry. I should have put those up as I was talking, and I'll just read through those again. Deductive reasoning, something has been happening, is discovered and concluded, and I just need to figure out how it came to be. Inductive reasoning, something should be happening, should be discoverable, and a conclusion should be able to be drawn. I just need to figure it out, or figure out how it can possibly be done. Okay, now we're going to fire away. We debate truth all the time. Paul and I do this. We go back and forth. Other friends and I love to get into these conversations and throw out speculation and, great thought processes, and we think we're all important. But here's the one that throws us for a loop. Can we debate the lie? Are we honest enough to consider our dishonesty? Okay, let that one sink in for a minute. You know me, I love to turn words around, so probably. I don't know, Paul, can you smell any smoke out there?
I can. As a matter of fact, it's between my eyes right now.
Okay.
Also, you can see where we're going, folks, and you can see that what Mark is basically leading us into is that whole notion of kind of looking at this from not necessarily a polar opposite between truth and lie, but there are two things that exist. Am I correct, Mark?
You are correct. So here's something to consider deductively. If there are many truths that all hold true, then there must be one greater truth that holds all truths together. Now, for that debating the lie thing up there, hold on, we're going to get there. And this is something for each of us to consider. It's not something I'm going to conclude for you, thinkers. You're going to need to think. So let me repeat that. If there are many truths that hold truth, then there must be one greater truth that holds all those together. Otherwise, what happens? I'm sorry, I'm working with notes today. If we were to firmly believe that there is no physical or spiritual truth, I would just have to be inducing a truth for myself, a reality, and suddenly I've contradicted myself. In other words, if a lie to me is reality, that's truth. More brain cells burning?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure that folks will have questions, and
I'm
of course,
sure. I hope. I would love that. Okay.
absolutely, that's what this whole exercise is
That's
about.
what it's all about. Okay. So now we're gonna turn a huge corner here. Warning, warning, paradigm shift. Everybody get ready. Get out your notepads or highlight on the screen, whatever you do. So some of you thinkers and non-thinkers may be uncomfortable with what I'm about to say. Be brave. And here's a new term for you. I want you to think walk through this with me. Okay? So here we go. Coming up. How easy is it for me to understand and discern the truth? All right. Now, this is asked as if you were asking it of yourself. I'm the same way. I have to ask this exact same question. How easy is it for me? Can I do that? Can I discern truth or a lie? Is it easy or is it a challenge for me? Let's do some deductive and inductive thinking on this, okay? So, I'm going to leave that up there for a second. I sense or deduct from experience in the depth of my being, this is me, you have to figure it out for yourself, I'm easier swayed toward acts of deceit and lying than I am to truth telling. Wait, Mark, what did you just do? Go ahead, Paul, ask me.
Yeah, really. What did you just do, Mark? You've just said that you're a liar.
I just said I was a liar. So, are you going to believe anything I say from this point forward? Are you, so that's a struggle because suddenly I have to say, oh my word, I'm prone to this. And I am sure there are many of you out there who have never told a lie in your life. And that it's much easier for you to tell the truth than in the heat of the moment to construct something that may get you out of a situation you don't want to be in, at least temporarily. By the way, that's called a lie. So anyway, let's make a better term, a fabrication. However, is it substantiated in truth? So I know my nature. I'm totally honest and confessional about this. I know I'm prone to that. So I have to be very careful if I want to avoid that, as I would assume everyone else is. However, I may be wrong. You all might have no problem with that whatsoever. Thinkers. So we're going to consider the next statement through both inductive and deductive reasoning. So here we go. Is there a great lie? Notice, great lie, in contrast with a great truth. All right. And if so, what are they? So here we go. I'm starting with inductive thinking. And I'm going to throw a term out there, and it's immediately going to throw off alarm bells for some of you. Others, not so much. Hang with me, thinkers. If I accept that, here it comes. If I accept that God exists as a perfect being, all right, I must accept that God does not lie. Perfect being, perfect behavior. I am not God, just in case anyone was wondering, okay? I'm not. As I already said, I am prone to lying. Why? It's who I have been. Okay. And so there is an immediate relational barrier, something that God guy out there doesn't do that I do, and something he's capable of, or she, that I'm not capable of. So that's got to be reconciled some way if I want to have any kind of a relational compatibility or communication with that being over there. Here we go. If I admit my nature and desire a relationship with the guy who doesn't lie, then I am the one who must be changed. Because here's the truth. Somebody who cannot or does not lie because they are perfect is not going to change for me. Not going to do it because that would make them a liar. Okay, there's some induction there. So by my confession and my turnaround, my repentance, I approach God, who is by his nature the truth. So then there's this thing called forgiveness according to a plan, because if God wants a relationship with the liar, we got to figure out a way for that to go back and forth. Now, again, you folks out there who don't believe in any kind of relational experience with God, hang tough. We're going to get there. We're gonna honor what you think too. So, anyway, that true plan seduces me. Ooh, there's a word for you. Into a new mindset, a desire to live in a truth relationship. I want to suddenly do that. I want to be different than my basic nature, which is lying. Okay, that's just working through it. Now, I wasn't born a truth teller. I have to change in some way, and I'm, as a liar, not really the capable one to do that. So I need help with it. Okay, so the guy who's truth, and I think that's his Western Plain name. He who is truth. I don't know. Anyway, getting off of the jokes there, he has to do the work for me. Okay, deductive thinking. I'm constantly convinced, scratch that. I am constantly convicted toward, rather than away from, truth. If I have this relationship. How did that happen? Deductively. When I fail to acknowledge and act in truth, I sense an error going on. Now, that hasn't always been. All right, and here's thinkers, here's a brain burner for you. Do you naturally go about your day thinking, I'm going to tell a lie? Okay, today I'm going to go out. My first thing I'm going to do is lie to somebody else or to myself or whatever. You don't. It's a natural thing. And then suddenly you look back and go, oops, I think that wasn't quite exactly right. All right, but how do you know that? How did that come to be? How did you sense at some point, looking backwards, something is wrong with me? That's a conviction. I know, we're going to go long here. Okay, so suddenly I can't, as I once did in my lying days, in my natural lying days, I can't just go on and accept that. I can only desire and seek out a new way of thinking, a new way of behaving. How did that happen? What change came about that made that happen? Something to think about. And now, some more inductive thinking. If I do not believe in God, here we go. Okay, this is for you other folks out there. Yet I still recognize that I lean toward the lie, not truth. Then how can anyone, including me, trust or depend on anything that I say? How can that be? Putting that pause out there for people to consider this. Okay. So, I'm going to hold on to that thought. How did I come about this thinking? Again, some more inductive and deductive thinking. All right. So, as a former, and for those of you who haven't watched along the way, this has been discussed, but I'll discuss it again. I was a big non-believer in God, big time. You can't put one over on me if you don't believe in God. I thought it all. I went through it all. I reasoned it all out. I was convinced there wasn't a God. So someday we'll have that talk too. But right now, just trust me, even though, as I already said, I'm prone toward a lie. But in this case, this is the reality. I was a former non-believer in God. I could not trust any truth, and so I made up my own truth. Perfectly natural, right? I made things up that fit my paradigm that I wanted things to run on. And then I discovered it didn't function. When I built the car and put it in drive, it went in reverse. Sometimes it went in drive and went forward. Sometimes it went sideways. It's for some reason it wasn't consistent and I couldn't figure that out. So I had to do some more induction. Oh, look at that. Truth with a capital T. Now that's something you've been seeing in there, but did you pick up on it? That capital T suggests a superior component to truth. Remember when we went back before and said if there are a bunch of truths that have come forward, there must be something that holds them all together. Otherwise, they fall apart. So, conversely to that, the capital L in lie also suggests a superiority. You either go toward seeking truth, capital T, important, capital T, or you go toward seeking the lie with a capital L. There's some inductive and deductive reasoning for you. So, that's going to lead to a final conclusion. All right? The truth and the lie exist. They just do. That's true. Yeah, there you go. There's a truth right there. Okay.
I love the fact that, Mark, I love the fact that you put
true.
Lie,
yeah, if it was a lie, how do you, okay, there's some more brain burning for you guys out there. We're all going to be puddles of gel by the time this is through. But there's a truth for you. The truth and the lie exist. Think about that, thinkers. And now my final deduction from that, only one truth or lie can be chosen as the superior shoes I walk in to navigate my rut wannabe and my ultimate rut gonna be journey. For those of you who, man, I feel sorry for the person who just walked in on this conversation and went, what? What in the world are you talking about? So we will be, Paul, you're about to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I'm really glad that we have pulled this thing full circle back, folks, to rut management. And Mark, please excuse me here. Just remind the folks that the rut wannabe and the rut gonna be journeys based on lies versus truth. Are we going to go there in this particular lesson, or are we going to, or in this episode, are we going to wait and kind of ground that somewhere else?
People plenty to think about. So there will be an episode 15. We're going to go back to the rut journey. We're going to review the rut and look at how I walk my life in a purposeful way that is going to get me to a place I truly want to be, and whether I want to be or not, ultimately am going to be. And so that is what this all leads back to. We started off on this journey at that very beginning of our rut map, and we were kind of contemplating all through this, and suddenly we're at the end, and full circle, we have to reevaluate our rut. And so next week, next episode, stay tuned, buckaroos. We are going to get on that saddle and ride.
No kidding. And as a matter of fact, this is probably bringing up more questions from the listeners, from our audience here. And for those of you who are not familiar with Mark, Mark, why don't you put up the contact information that you can make yourself available to or make me available?
Hold on here. I'm going to do exactly that.
There we go.
So,
folks, you can reach Mark right there. Go right ahead, Mark.
No, you go. You doing it, Paul. I'm going to take a cup of coffee. I'm tired.
Warren Slick. Well, if you wish to get in touch with Mark through email, of course, you can see right there, markcwrites@gmail.com. There's a Facebook page out there. Mark my words, as you can see. Follow that link. It works for everybody. YouTube, the same way. And of course, the Rut Management website, ever popular and timeless as it is. Been around for a while there. Folks, go out there and take a look at some of the other material that Mark has out there as well. We've done a fairly decent job of being able to expose you to some of those elements, and there will be other episodes down the line in this series that will allow us the privilege of being able to look at some of these other thoughts in a different direction. But right now, this is pretty much concluding our episode for today. Mark, have you got anything else to add?
I don't have another thing to suggest except for have a great thinking day out there.
Excellent. Excellent. And all of you critical thinkers out there, just remember that there's an end coming up here to some of this. And for those of you who may be scratching your heads, that's exactly why we're out here. Is we want to get Mark's biggest idea here is to get people to think. And Mark, I really appreciate your being with us today.
Thank you, Paul. And what if we sign off and hope people will come back for more?
Excellent. Sounds like a plan to me. Everybody have a great day, and we'll catch up with you later.
Take care.